Before there were the likes of Toffee, Bill Cipher, and Lord Dominator, there was a supervillain that kicked all kinds of ass. And his name was Chase Young. Hello guys, welcome back to Legends of Evil, where I talk about the villains outside of the comic book genre. And today, oh boy, I've been waiting to talk about this guy for years. I have waited so long, and I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm finally going to do a spotlight on one of my favorite cartoon villains of all time. And that is none other than Chase motherfucking Young. Now, Chase Young first appeared in Xiaolin Showdown, the start of the second season, and in it, he is the self-proclaimed master of all evil. Chase Young was this very interesting character who just came out of nowhere and people already knew who he was. Like, this dude was like, if you were evil, you had to run everything by him. Like, he was the god of the... I wouldn't say god, but he was more like, if there's evil in the world, he knows about it. Like, if there's some capacity of evil, he will figure it out or find it in some way, shape, or form. Because everything evil in the world, runs through him. Not literally, mind you, but, he knew all the, he knew all the villains. And in turn, all the villains knew him, especially Jack Spicer, who really, really wanted to be be the biggest member of his fan club. And seeing all the shipping with that, yeah. The Jack Chase shipping. No, there's no ship shaming here on this channel. There is no ship shaming. But man, there are some fan fictions, I don't read them, but I know for a fact there are a lot of fan fictions where where Jack really puts out for Chase. I was like, god damn. I don't even know, I don't know, he's over 500 years old, he had to have been playing both fences. Anyway, I'm getting too deep into that. Anyway, so Chase is immortal. And the reason for his immortality is a very interesting story. Although they completely retcon it in Chronicles. Because everything in Chronicles is bad, that's why. Oh god, fucking Xiaolin Chronicles. What even was that show? Don't worry, I'll get into that, because there's something that happens in there that made me go, I'm done! I'm done! Anyway. So, the original continuity of Chase's origin was that he was a monk who trained alongside Master Monk Guam as well as Master Dashi as well. And however, while they were all allies and compatriots, Chase was tempted by a villain by the name of Hannibal Bean to consume the soup called the Lao Ming Lao soup, which would not only lose his soul, but also make him incredibly evil as well as powerful. And at first, Chase was like, I'm not gonna trade my soul away for, doing this. But eventually, he gave in to temptation and became a monster. Literally became a monster. The dude really has the power to turn into a fucking dragon human, and not to mention, he's a master of all forms of martial arts. He's got super strength, regeneration, he has super speed, he has, he's also incredibly intelligent. I'm just listing off all the things he is, and everything he is badass. Like I said, before there were the likes of, Toffee, or Bill Cipher, or Lord Dominator, there was Chase Young. He was the guy, the villain, who really kind of showed that supervillains could be more than just Skeletor. That wasn't my best Skeletor, but you get my point. And not to say anything bad about Skeletor or, the 80s villains, but there was, you could do a villain who could not only be more evil, but also have a bit more depth to him. And yes, I know there are others like him. There were others in that era, in the early 2000s, who had, more complex stories. And even in the 90s, you had, Demona and whatnot. But Chase was, Demona was, the forefather, or foremother of, complex villains. Chase took it to the next step. And I know Bill and Dominator aren't really complex, but Chase did give way for villains like them to be these kind of just embodiments of evil that could just wreck shit and be incredibly intelligent without being... Or, you know, villains who constantly lose at the end of every episode. Chase actually, even when he loses, he gets a victory. That's the scary thing about him, is that in like 90% of the time he was around, he won even when he lost. You know, every time he showed up, it was always an ulterior motive, much like with Toffee. Chase had also this major goal of wanting to take over the world, but however, he also needed something else. He wanted Omi, the main monk of the show, to rule at his side. His relationship with Omi was so much like Sidious and Anakin, but a little more if Anakin was a little smart and knew that Palpatine was the Sith Lord. That was the main, you know, that's kind of what it was, is that, imagine if Anakin already knew that Palpatine was Darth Sidious and didn't want to be tempted by the forces of evil, but, you know, Palpatine was like, hey, more power, get to save your friends, just saying, and he's like, oh, alright. So, it was kind of like that, but a little more smartly written, is what I'm saying. Not, you know, no disrespect to my boys in Star Wars. Anywho, so Chase, the scary thing about Chase is that he won. He essentially won in the show, and it was only by sheer goddamn luck that they managed to beat Chase. And even then, Chase was like, I don't even care. This is just, setback. That was the thing. He never really got angry. He was more like, every time I lose, I'm just gonna come back. You can't kill me. I'm frickin' immortal. I'm going to outlive all of you. So, what else can you do? That's the other thing, is that Chase is immortal. And much like with a lot of villains, is that, much like with Vandal Savage or someone like that, or Ra's al Ghul, is that they're going to eventually outlive their enemies. That's the thing, is that, Chase always had, like, that smugness to him, because he was like, dude, I'm gonna live forever. You're not. I can just keep going at this. You can't. And the other thing that kept his immortality is that he had to keep making the soup to keep his immortality and his powers, and the soup was made from dragons. The dude ate dragons. Yeah, he literally ate dragons to keep... How badass of a villain you are when you can say, my diet includes the tears of my enemies and fucking dragons in my soup. I know I'm really gushing about this, but Chase was like one of the first major villains I always thought of as, like, really cool. Even though he was really straightforward about it, but at the same time he was like, yeah, I've got some honor to me. That was the other thing. When you saw him team up with, like, the monks or Omi in specifically, it was always kind of cool, because he always had, like, this aura of honor, even though he was the self-proclaimed master of all evil. And don't get me wrong, he was pretty evil, but still. But yeah, in Shaolin Chronicles, they did this weird thing where he was like, I can't even remember, because Shaolin Chronicles was so fucking bad, was that either he was a dragon who fell in love with a human, or a human who fell in love with a dragon, and that's why he turned evil. So you can see why I like the first origin more, and they retcon that in Chronicles. And then he also made another character called, I believe, I can't even remember her name, but she was voiced by Jennifer Hale, and... yeah, through a weird way, he created his daughter, but it's also really hinted that he's banging her, so it's really weird. Yeah, Chronicles is not good, people. Let's get that bullshit out of the way. Chronicles is not good, so if you're gonna watch it, just skip Chronicles. And just stick with the original show. That's all I am saying here. So, there you go, guys. Just a quick history of Chase Young. Probably one of my favorite animated villains. If I was to ever do like a top 10 list of animated villains, I can guarantee you that Chase would be on that list. So there you go, guys. Yeah, that's pretty much all I had to say. So you guys tell me in the comments below, what did you guys think of Chase Young as a villain? Did you guys like him? Did you guys hate him? What were some of your favorite episodes with him? Just comment below, let me know. I'm really curious to see what you guys have to say about this one. And once again, hope you all enjoyed this, and I will see you guys later.